Welcome to learning sessions, and today in this video tutorial we will learn about some important questions, we can say memory recalled questions for the session JAIIB 2018 December. Okay, so let us start the video, and the first topic, it is regarding the irrevocable letter. So what is irrevocable letter of credit? LOC or LC we say. So basically we can say irrevocable letter of credit, it is a financial instrument. First of all, letter of credit is what? Letter of credit is a financial instrument which is used by the banks. So it is a financial instrument which is used by the banks to guarantee a buyer's obligation. सो बायर की जो भी कर्तव्य है, बायर का कर्तव्य क्या है कि बायर ने पैसे देने हैं सेलर के, ठीक है, तो उन ऑब्लिगेशंस की बेसिकली ये गारंटी देता है. सो वी कंसीडर अ बायर हियर एंड अ सेलर. ओके, सो सेलर basically provides on credit some materials or some raw materials or some goods to the buyer. Okay, but to be assured that the seller is paid, for the assurance of the seller to be paid, he asks the buyer for letter of credit. Okay, so buyer goes to the bank. So buyer is, we can say, applicant. So buyer is what? Applicant, and seller is a beneficiary. So he goes to the bank which is said to be opening bank, जिसे opening bank कहा जाता है, ठीक है. So the buyer goes to the bank to guarantee the payment to the seller. So basically जो letter of credit है ये एक financial instrument है जो banks के द्वारा यूज किया जाता है, जो बेसिकली यूज किया जाता है ताकि जो बैंक है वो क्या करे, एक गारंटी प्रोवाइड करे सेलर को उस क्रेडिट के लिए जो बेसिकली वो बायर को प्रोवाइड करेगा. ओके, एंड इररिवोकेबल मींस, इंग्लिश मीनिंग ऑफ इररिवोकेबल इज विच कैन नॉट बी रिवोक्ड, विच कैन नॉट बी चेंज्ड, विच कैन नॉट बी रिवर्स्ड. Okay, what it means that the terms and conditions of letter of credit without the consent of all the parties involved in the letter of credit, it cannot be changed. So irrevocable letter of credit वो letter of credit है जिसको सभी parties की सहमति के बिना बदला नहीं जा सकता. That is why this irrevocable letter of credit is oftenly used to facilitate the international trade. ज्यादातर इसका इस्तेमाल इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड में किया जाता है बिकॉज वहां पर एडिशनल रिस्क अवेलेबल रहते हैं. मान लीजिए अगर इररिवोकेबल नहीं है एंड बायर जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस है सेलर के कंसेंट के बिना ही उसमें कुछ चेंजेस कर देता है, तो सेलर को अगर उसकी नॉलेज नहीं है एंड वो दूसरी कंट्री में बैठा है तो वहां पर कंट्री रिस्क भी है, लीगल रिस्क भी है, तो और बहुत सारा के जो रिस्क्स रहते हैं that are involved in this case. That is why irrevocable letter is quite famous in the international trade. Okay, so in irrevocable letter basically it removes the seller's credit risk. The credit, the loan which is provided by the seller to the buyer, okay, and the risk involved in this credit given to the buyer are basically mitigated. These are removed. Okay, because this guarantee, this letter of credit basically guarantees the seller that if the buyer is unable to pay his obligation, if the buyer is basically unable to pay the credit which is provided by the seller to him, then the bank on its behalf, on the behalf of the applicant, on the behalf of the importer, on behalf of the buyer, it will pay to the seller itself. Okay, so if you are interested about the how letter of credit works, what are the parties which are involved in it, you can go by our full video on letter of credit. The link for the same is given in the description. Okay, so letter of credit, the full topic is very much important itself for the exam of JAIIB as well of the CAIIB. Okay, so be prepared for it. Be prepared about all the things which are covered in letter of credit, because you can see 4 to 5 questions regarding letter of credit in your exam. So now let's move to the next memory recalled topic. Okay, so these topics are basically the topics which we gather from our candidates. So let's move to the other one. The second is, it is regarding the MCX. So MCX is basically, it is multi-commodity exchange. Okay, MCX is multi-commodity exchange, and basically this is the name which you can see oftenly in the BSC, that is Bombay Stock Exchange, and NSE, that is National Stock Exchange. Okay, this is a platform where commodities are traded. Commodities. Okay, now what is commodity? Like zinc, gold, silver, okay, oil, crude oil. So all these are basically what? Commodities. Okay, so it is a platform where commodity traders basically facilitate online trading of the commodities. Okay, so all the settlements and clearings regarding the commodities and future transactions, all are over here basically transacted. And this commodity exchange, multi-commodity exchange, it is regulated market. Okay, and it was previously regulated by FMC. Okay, FMC is what? FMC is Forward Market Commission. सो पहले इसकी जो रेगुलेशन थी वो फॉरवर्ड मार्केट कमीशन के द्वारा की जाती थी. इट वाज बीइंग डन बाय फॉरवर्ड मार्केट कमीशन. ओके, बट लेटर ऑन द एफएमसी वाज मर्ज्ड इनटू सिक्योरिटीज एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया. ओके, so FMC was formed in 2003, but in 2016 the FMC was merged with Securities and Exchange Board of India. Okay, so MCX now falls under the regulatory purview of the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Okay, so this is all to be need to be known about the MCX, that is multi commodity exchange. The next important question and the common question which is asked in many times in the JAIIB exam, it was regarding the securitization. Now what is basically the securitization is? Securitization होती क्या है? Okay, so securitization in a layman language you can say it is a asset backed security. Now what is asset backed security? Where we have a security, where we have some certificate which are very much liquid in the market. Okay, very much liquid, that which can be easily sold in the market or which can be easily tradable in the market. Okay, so these certificates are basically backed by what? Some assets. And assets are what? Basically these are the collaterals. So these are secured because we have collateral for them. अगर सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बात करें तो सिक्योरिटाइजेशन एक ऐसा प्रोसेस है जिसमें हम किसी इल लिक्विड प्रोसेस को, किसी इल लिक्विड जो हमारे पास इंस्ट्रूमेंट है, हमारे पास कोई सिक्योरिटी है, उसको हम लिक्विड फॉर्म में चेंज कर देते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड सिक्योरिटाइजेशन. एंड द मोस्ट कॉमन एग्जांपल फॉर द सिक्योरिटाइजेशन इट इज MBS. MBS is basically mortgage backed security, जिसमें हमारे पास बैक एंड पर यहां पर एसेट्स कोलेटरल क्या रहती है? कोई मॉर्टगेज रहती है. सिंपलेस्ट एग्जांपल यू कैन टेक इज लाइक you have 5 borrowers. There is a bank named XYZ and it has 5 housing loan borrowers with it. Okay, so all have taken loan from XYZ bank, housing loan from XYZ bank, and in return they have put their mortgage with the bank. Okay, now banks do what? These loans are basically illiquid. So all the capital the bank had invested into the market by giving loans to the persons A, B, C, D and E. But now bank wants to generate some capital for itself, wants to generate some liquidity. So what bank needs to do? Bank will just go to a special purpose vehicle, and special purpose vehicle will in return will collect all these securities, and on behalf of these securities, and a outer company will rate these. Okay, outer company rating agency will rate these mortgages, and based on this rating, likewise if these are rated to be triple A, means these are easily tradable, because the rating has a impact on the investors. Investors see what? Investors see what is the rating of these bonds, or these, you can say, securities, these certificates. Okay, so if these are rated good, the investors will be willing to invest in these. Okay, सो एसपीवी वर्क्स लाइक, एसपीवी क्या करती है कि जो ये मॉर्गेज सिक्योरिटीज होती हैं इनको ट्रेडेबल सर्टिफिकेट की फॉर्म में क्या करती है, जनरेट कर देती है, एंड जो रेटिंग एजेंसी होती है वो बेस्ड अपॉन द कोलेटरल यूज, बेस्ड अपॉन द जो बैक्ड मॉर्गेज है उसके बेस पर इसकी रेटिंग करती है, एंड देन इन्वेस्टर्स इन्वेस्ट मनी इन दिस. ओके, इन्वेस्टर्स गेट दीज सर्टिफिकेट्स, ओके, एंड द बैंक गेट इट्स मनी. So this whole process is called what? Securitization. मैं एक बार फिर से प्रोसेस को रिपीट कर देता हूं. XYZ के पास 5 बोरोअर्स हैं, हाउसिंग लोन बोरोअर्स हैं, जिन्होंने अपनी मॉर्गेज यानी कि हाउस को बैंक के पास रखा हुआ है. ओके, सो बैंक ने क्या किया हुआ है, अपनी सारे के सारी जो भी पूंजी थी बैंक के पास, बैंक ने लोन में इन्वेस्ट कर दी है, एंड बैंक को अब कुछ लिक्विडिटी की जरूरत है. तो बैंक क्या कर सकता है, बैंक बेसिकली क्या करेगा, एक स्पेशल पर्पस व्हीकल को अडॉप्ट करेगा, पॉलिसी को अडॉप्ट करेगा, एंड उसके बेस पर ये जो सिक्योरिटीज हैं, जो बैक्ड सिक्योरिटीज हैं, हाउसेज हैं, उसके बेस पर जो एसपीवी है वो सर्टिफिकेट्स को जनरेट कर देगा. एंड इनकी रेटिंग कौन करेगा, एक रेटिंग एजेंसी इनकी क्या करेगी, रेटिंग करेगी, एंड बेस्ड अपॉन द रेटिंग, अगर इसकी रेटिंग अच्छी है तो उसके बेस पर जो इन्वेस्टर्स हैं वो विलिंग रहेंगे इनको परचेज करने के लिए, एंड इन रिटर्न जो इन्वेस्टर्स होंगे वो पैसा देंगे, पैसा बेसिकली बैंक के पास आएगा, बैंक की लिक्विडिटी भी बन जाएगी. Okay, so this is the process of the securitization. Next topic is also very important, that is CBLO. CBLO is collateralized borrowing and lending obligation. So basically CBLO is what? CBLO is money market instrument. This is a money market instrument which is being used to lend money by the institutes which have surplus funds, and which is used to borrow money which have the institutes which have surplus securities. Likewise, we are considering two institutes over here, A and B. A has surplus funds. Funds means liquidity. Okay, and B has surplus securities. Okay, so B has surplus security and A has surplus funds. So if B is in need of some liquidity, that it wants some funds, okay, it can give it security and can borrow funds. But this transaction is not directly between these two. This transaction is not directly between these two. There is a corporation for it, that is CCIL. CCIL is Clearing Corporation of India. This is Clearing Corporation of India Limited. So all these transactions, all the transactions of the CBLO are operated by, transacted by the CCIL, that is Clearing Corporation of India Limited. Okay, so basically what happens, the institute which has surplus funds goes to the CCIL. The institute which has surplus security which wants to borrow some funds also goes to CCIL. Okay, and CCIL basically matches the requirement of the two parties and does the deal. So these A and B parties do not know about each other, that they are lending to whom or they are basically borrowing from whom. Okay, so this is basically anonymous order matching platform. This is anonymous order matching platform where the transaction is being done by CCIL and the lending is covered by the approved securities. Now approved securities means, we said over here that the B has surplus securities with him. What these securities are meant to be? These must be approved securities, and this includes government securities and treasury bills also. Okay, so these are basically approved securities, and on base of these approved securities, if B wants to borrow, then B has to put these securities with CCIL, and CCIL on behalf of these securities will lend it to B on behalf of A. Okay, and the money which is being borrowed in the CBLO platform, it can be borrowed from overnight to 1 year. Overnight to 1 year means from 1 day to 1 year, depending upon the requirements. And the participants that we mentioned here to be A and B, these participants can be commercial banks, these can be PDs that are primary dealers, these can be insurance companies, these can be mutual funds, these can be financial institutes, these can be NBFCs, that is non-banking financial company. So important to know about CBLO is that identity is not disclosed by the CCIL, and the other thing is that these lendings are backed by the securities. Okay. The next question which was asked in 2018 exam, it was, what is demutualization? It was a basic question regarding the demutualization. So we will not go into the deep of it, but the concept of demutualization starts from basically a transition. So basically this is a transition of a company, that what it was and what it become. Okay, so it is a transition basically. So here we are having a company A. Okay, and this is a mutual company. This is a mutual company. Now what is a mutual company? In a mutual company, basically it is a company which provides specific services. It provides specific services. Okay, and investment is in this company is being made by the members. So members make investment in this company A. Okay, and specific services are being provided to the customers, and the members are also its customers. Okay, so this is a mutual company which is providing specific services, and investment in this company is being done by the members, and the members themselves are also the customers of the company. Okay, and demutualization is a process where company changes its basically the hierarchy, you can say, where the company which was owned by the members is now a company which is owned by the shareholders. Okay, only difference is this, that in that case the company was being held by the members, they invested the money in it, but now where a transition has taken place, the company is being owned by the shareholders. Okay, and this transition process is called demutualization. Okay, so this is end of the part 1 of previous year questions of principles and practices of banking. In next part we will cover some more important questions of principles and practices of banking. And if you want to get all the previous year questions and full video course, just visit the link in the description where you can get all the previous year questions and full video course of JAIIB, CAIIB. Thank you so much and stay tuned.